Hey everybody, this is my second video. I decided to do it on the events of October 31st, 2014, when I was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, and the next morning my mugshot went viral. Ridiculous. Whatever. Surreal life. So, I was dressed up as Serena Williams, and I was going down to downtown Santa Cruz, because Santa Cruz is a party on Halloween. There's people doing all sorts of crazy shit. People have chainsaws and guns and knives. It's ridiculous. I don't know why I was the one arrested for a deadly weapon, because I had a tennis racket. But anyway, I was dressed as Serena Williams, amazing costume. There was like little kids coming up to me on the street, trying to take pictures and stuff, and it was just like really solid. Everybody was cracking up. It was a good costume. So I go to my friend's bar. I'm drinking at the bar, and I think I had like a shot and maybe 2 beers. So I was feeling good. I wasn't fucked up. I'm like 175 pounds. It's not enough to like do me in. So I go downstairs and I see this guy outside, and he's got this big paper mache Mardi Gras style mask thing going over his head that's a fox, and he's wearing a suit underneath, so his costume is Fox News, and he had a microphone and a guy behind him, and the guy behind him had a dog mask, and he was holding a camera. It was a pretty funny costume, well put together. But at the time I was just not feeling it. So he saw me coming down the stairs. He's like, Serena, we want to interview you, and I was just not feeling it. So I was like, man, fuck Fox News. You guys preach hate, fear, and xenophobia and racism and blah blah blah. And I take the mic and I make like a lewd and lascivious gesture with it, and I give it back to him. In the article it says that I like hit him and shoved the microphone down my pants, but I was wearing a tennis dress, so it was not possible for me to shove a mic. Whatever. So this fool he's like kind of enamored like by my display, because I was just like exploded on it kind of, and I turn around, and as I'm walking away, I throw my tennis racket on the ground about 3 feet in front of him, so it didn't even hit him or anything like that. And he goes and he picks it up, and he's like what the fuck just happened? And the police come and they tackle me to the ground. It was ridiculous. And it turns out that the Santa Cruz Police Department brings in Santa Clara County police officers for Halloween night, because it's so crazy in Santa Cruz. And the Santa Cruz cops, unless you're doing something crazy, they're pretty cool. I've surfed with a couple of them. There's one particular one I always compare tattoos with downtown. They're reasonable, you know. If you're not like doing meth or like killing a baby or something, they'll leave you be. So so I'm tagging with all these cops, and the lieutenant that's booking me in is from Santa Clara, and he's like, and I'm like, yo, like I'm sitting on the ledge. It's still in the Serena Williams costume. I'm sitting on the curb in handcuffs and bleeding, and I'm like, yo, what are you arresting me for? What did I do? Like, this is ridiculous. And the guy's like, assault with a deadly weapon, and I'm like, are you serious? It was a tennis racket. And I started kind of laughing, and he's like, oh, you think that's funny? And then he like actually wrote it down. Shit. So they take me into jail, and I'm still in the Serena Williams costume. So I walk in, and all of the law enforcement officers that are booking me in, they're like laughing and shit, and I tell them the story, and they're like, man, this is ridiculous. You're gonna be out of here and like so quick. And they start asking me all the questions to like book you in. One of them was, have you been to Africa in the last couple months? Because Ebola was going strong at that time. So I quit thinking. I was like, yes, because I was thinking like, yo, man, they're gonna put me in the cell with the most hardened motherfuckers in the jail, because I have assault with a deadly weapon charge, and I'm not violent, man. I'm vegetarian. I'm a nice boy. So they so I told them that I'd been playing drums with some African men on the street, and they were like, "Oh God!" and they quarantined me. They put me in my own room, and it sucked because it was really cold in there, and they only gave me, because I came in the tennis dress, they gave me these like little booty shorts. It was ridiculous. So they thought like I was warm enough in the tennis dress, so they're not going to give you full clothes. But they quarantined me, but there's no toilet in there, so I had to pee in the corner, and the nurse comes and checks me out. I'm checked out for not having Ebola. So, but instead of putting me back inside of like the pod where I was supposed to go, they put me into like main holding, so I didn't have to deal with all that. I saw a guy that was coming out of the pod that I was supposed to be in, and he had swastika tattooed on his temple and on both of the insides of his knees. I'm just glad I wasn't in there. So I make my phone call. I call my bail bondsman, or a bail bondsman. I guess now he's my bail bondsman. And he gets me out. The whole process probably took like, I don't know, 12 hours because they had so many people in jail. And so I'm about to leave. Bail bondsman gets me out, and I realized like the only clothes that I have is the Serena Williams costume. So I put the costume back on, and my homie comes and picks me up, and we go to Bottomless Mimosa brunch, and he's still dressed up too, and it's just me and him looking crazy. It was really fun. But anyway, the next morning, well, actually, I guess it was later that same morning, my face was printed out in the Santa Cruz Sentinel, which is the local newspaper, and I was like this big picture, and there's like 4 other smaller pictures below me, and the 4 smaller pictures below me, they were like people that had gun charges and meth charges. Like they were like Mexican gangsters, like norteños. They had a bunch of shit on them, and they were out making money on Halloween, and they got caught up or whatever. But it looks like I was the kingpin. It looked like I would still be in jail. That's just ridiculous. If I actually did something, and it was so funny. The next day, people were messaging me like, "How would I get that in jail?" But anyway, I get home and I realize all this is happening, and my lawyer's like, "Man, just stay at home. I'm gonna go to the court date." And the press showed up at the court date, and it was a whole thing. But it got dropped down to first. It was like they lined up a bunch of felonies. It was like evading arrest and assault on an officer. No, not assault on an officer. But whatever, evading arrest and assault with a deadly weapon and resisting arrest, all this shit. I think I had like 3 or 4 felonies that they were gonna pile on, and immediately it got dropped down to a misdemeanor. Right when my lawyer went in there, like all of the charges except for one were dropped on the first day, and then we went back again a few months later, and it was the charge that I ended up getting was disturbing the peace with loud or inappropriate language. So it was a $450 ticket, but my face had already been blasted on the internet, so I got a modeling deal out of it. I don't really like modeling, so I just like paid my lawyer fees, and now I'm here. But yeah, that's what actually happened. And it's all closed up, so I can say that. But yeah, I guess Mugshot, Hot Mess, Sean, Monk, whatever. I'll talk to you later.